Why would someone with all this analog equipment use a plugin? Now, here's the thing, and I got this comment and this question, and I was quite, when I received it, I remember I was quite kind of taken aback of how actually stupid the question is, because you can have all the best equipment in the world, right? You can have all this equipment. There are things in the box that you cannot do out the box. And if you think that mastering engineers who do analog mastering are just using analog equipment and no plugins at all, and if they are, they're falling well behind, because there's advancements in the box that you don't have out the box, right? There's things like Soothe. I always mention Soothe as one that's, there is nothing out the box that does anything remotely similar to Soothe. Yeah, we can use kind of de-essers, we can use things that dynamic EQs, we can use all those sorts of things, but they aren't used like Soothe. Soothe will find, it will scan, basically not scan along the frequency range, but it will move as the track evolves, the frequencies that it is notching out and soothing as such. It's finding those in real time, which no piece of analog equipment will do. So there's advancements in the box. Ozone 11, and look, I used to hate Ozone, but Ozone 11, the new one, I'm not talking about going and using everything over the master bus like plugins, but there's certain aspects of things like Ozone which the low end focus is really good. There's nothing like that out the box because it uses digital technology to be able to achieve these sorts of things. So it's very, very naive to think that just because you've got analog equipment, you have to just use analog equipment. The question of why would you is because there's huge advancements in the box. Ozone 11 though, you can split the track into 3 stems: drums, vocal and bass. Now if you haven't got stems and all you've got is a stereo mix to master, there's no possible way using just analog equipment to isolate the vocals from the track and just be able to process the vocals. Now, for instance, if I want to, let's say the vocals got some really kind of, it's boxy and I need to notch something out. Now I could do that in the analog domain. I can do that in the analog domain. I can notch that kind of boxiness out. But the issue you've got there is you are going to remove the frequencies around it that are drums, that are instruments, that it's going to affect those as well. No matter what you do, you are going to affect that, even if you're using mid-side EQ out the box. Whereas something like Ozone, you could apply that EQ to just the vocal, and it does it very, very, very. It's incredible what it does. And if you're not utilizing in the box tools and doing what is called hybrid mastering, which is utilizing digital plugins and you utilizing the kind of the sound of analog, yeah, analog is a superior mastering service. It does sound better, and I think we all know that. And you've only got to listen to like the plugin versus hardware comparisons, and hardware wins pretty much every time. Some people might prefer the plugin, but it's only a handful of people, and the majority will always choose the hardware over the plugin because it has that sound that's can't be created with a plugin. So there's massive advancements in the box. You've got Goldfoss, things like that, but the big one is as well is analyzers. Using FabFilter Pro Q3 as an analyzer, you have no analysis out the box unless you get one of these like visual analyzers, and they're not detailed. They're not great. The actual coming back in the box and looking at what is coming back in the box and monitoring the frequency range and looking at it on a spectrum analyzer, you don't have that out of the box. Utilize that. If you're thinking that just because you've got analog equipment, you don't have to use plugins anymore, you know, you are falling behind, because there's people like me who are using analog equipment and using plugins, combining the best of both worlds, you know, and achieving a far better result. I know full well if I just did the digital mastering aspect of it and removed all the analog, the master would fall well short of what I consider the kind of finished master. If I removed all the digital aspects of the mastering, it wouldn't fall as far short, but it would not, it 100% would not be as good as if I combined digital plugins with analog hardware. It's so important. So if you're mastering, if you've got an analog mastering chain and you're just doing analog mastering and you're not touching any digital plugins because it's like, oh, I've got analog mastering, even if you've got great EQs, great limiters, great saturation out the box, still before you come out the box, there's various different processes to apply before coming out the box. There's various different processes in the box to apply. Once you're back in, you know, don't limit yourself. And yeah, I found this comment like, I don't know what, I just found it very, like, I felt for the guy, because he really thought like, you got analog equipment so you don't have to use plugins. And I felt for him, because it was like, you really do think that, that is your thought process. And I was like, you're so wrong. I just that's why I wanted to do a video on it, because if he thinks it, I guarantee you there's hundreds of others who think it. And if you are thinking that one or the other, it's not a case of one or the other. If you've got analog equipment, combine it with digital equipment, plugins, combine the two, you'll get such a better sound. You honestly will.